seems like just yesterday I was erasing files and losing different programs, and here we are. Oh, wait a minute, it was just yesterday. Hi everybody, it's David-Dorian Ross. Welcome to the Cherry Blossom Studios. It is day 30, the day after the infamous Lost Files episode. Day 30 of 100 Days of Tai Chi, and welcome back. I'll tell you what else just happened yesterday. I had a viewer who was asking about the differences in the height of your stances. And I said, that you sink down to a certain level, and she asked, does that mean I should be at a certain level for the whole routine? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to tell you about the different levels that you want to climb into when you're doing your Tai Chi, and we're going to learn one of them, a new level, in today's movement. I've also got a great viewer question of the day. I got it's kind of a question, kind of a comment, kind of an invitation for you, and all that's coming up right after this. So the movement is called high pat on horse. That's how it's usually translated. Watch me one time, maybe you'll see where the movement gets its name, then we'll do the breakdown. We start from the end of single whip. It's a one-stepper, but unlike the other empty step changes we've done before, where we took the back foot and moved it closer to the front, this time we're taking the front foot and moving it closer to the back. All right, here's the short version, everything together. From single whip, I'm going to shift my weight to the back foot, peel up the toes, prepare to step into an empty step. The left hand turns palm up, and the right hand releases the hook. As I step into my empty step, my waist squares up, which brings the right hand across the chest. Then the two hands pass, palm over palm, right hand striking out on the pinky side, left hand coming into the hip. And finally, I stand up a tiny bit taller, a high pat on the horse. Okay, now if that's all you needed, zip through to the question of the day and I'll see you right there. Otherwise, stick around. Okay, let's talk about the footwork, and to do that, I'm going to switch the camera. Good, now facing you in a mirror image here, I'm starting from a bow step and going into an empty step, which means I both get shorter and narrower, right? Now this is kind of hard when you're going backwards. So I shift my weight back, emptying out the front foot, and peel up the front toes. This gives me a little bit more center of gravity motion so that I can bring this foot in. Right? That's pretty much the whole footwork right there. Body work is that once I've stepped in, my hips are going to square up. Then the body, kind of pushing off the supporting leg, rises up a tiny bit, an inch or two, right? Don't want to go too far. Now here's what the hands are doing. From the end of single whip, I begin by turning the left palms up. It reaches out in front, and releasing the hook of the right hand. I have one hand palm up, one hand palm down. As my hips square up, it brings the right hand folding across the chest. Right? On the hook hand, folding across the chest. And then, I'm going to get closer to the camera here, they're going to slide over each other, right? Left hand withdrawing, right hand extending. And so the two together pass, palm over palm, right hand striking, left hand into the hip. One more time from this mirror image vantage point, let's take a look at the movement. I sit back, square in, palm over palm, high pat on the horse. Good, all right, now I'm going to flip the camera back and let's take a look at it from the side once again. I'll do it from the two vantage points so you can see both ways. Here we are at the end of single whip. One more time from the other angle. Hi, Pat on Hook. So today's viewer question of the day comes from Anna Smith, who asked if I wouldn't mind explaining a little bit about the difference between the toe down version of the empty step and the heel down version of the empty step. So thanks, Anna. That's a great question. And let me just kind of start by making sure everybody knows what I mean by an empty step. So an empty step is a basic stance or foot position in our Tai Chi form. And it's basically just standing on one foot with the other foot lightly making contact with the ground. Lightly making contact means that there's no weight being borne on it. You shouldn't have to shift your weight in order to step out and move it again. We basically have two different versions of the empty step here. One with the toes down, and by toes, I really mean the ball of the foot. You're not really on your toes like this. It's relaxed and there's a little bit of daylight underneath the heel, but it's really the balls of the foot down. And the other version is heel down, again, really relaxed, but the toes lifted up and there's daylight between the toes and the floor. Now, the empty step is a wonderful position, and it's what I call the position of ultimate possibility. Because when you're in this position, this other foot could be anything. It could be a step in any direction, behind, in front, to the side, crossing over. It could be a kick. It could be a sweep. It could be all kinds of things, a block. It could be just a change of direction here. All kinds of things could come out of this empty step because there's no form to it yet. It's ultimate possibility. Now, when you have the heel down version, you've got all the same characteristics of this basic empty step with one more additional, very interesting quality, technique. And that is what we call the ankle hook. So imagine that you're standing facing your opponent and you're putting this foot down here like this. You could, what we call, wrap those toes around behind the ankle of your opponent, and then as their body weight and center of gravity goes backwards, they become easy to trip and push down. Take, for example, the movement fist under elbow. So here you are in an empty step. You've got basically one hand in their face, the other hand punching into the ribs. Meanwhile, you've got this ankle hook going on right there, and what's their natural reaction? It's like, ah, and you just keep on going. So there's just a couple of the basic characteristics and differences in the two different types of empty steps. Anna, once again, thank you for that question. If you have a question about any of the movements that we're learning, whether it's the martial techniques or the energy or the spirit or just details of where the hands and feet go, I love those questions, and please just post them. Now, I have a question or a comment maybe for you guys. So as I just said, I really, really appreciate the questions that you asked me, but I wonder if you have considered that one of the great possibilities, one of the great inherent qualities of social media like YouTube or Facebook or any of these others is the ability not only to talk directly to me, but to each other, right? So when you talk to each other, you get to know each other. And when you get to know each other, you might develop friendships. And as you develop friendships, you might develop community. And that's a very wonderful, powerful thing. You discover areas of shared interest. A lot of times, some of the people who view my channel or come to my classes or whatever, very different politics, very different, worldviews and religious beliefs, but we find an area of common interest. And that is what starts conversations. And that's what makes peace possible in the world. So here's an invitation. The next time you're reading the comments or getting to the end of one of these programs, take a look. And if you're reading somebody else's question, say, oh gosh, I've always wanted to know that myself. Don't just tell me, tell them. You can reply right under their comment. Anyway, not really a question, but sort of an invitation. There you go. Here's some housekeeping stuff. If this is your first time visiting, first of all, welcome. And second of all, why not hit the subscribe button and the little bell right next to it, which will notify you when new episodes come up. Hit the share button is also very nice. It's a way to spread the love around. And if you haven't already done so, come on over to the website, taijifit.net, where we've got all kinds of really, really cool stuff going on, including live classes with me, live hangouts with me, and you'll find out all about that by coming over to the website. All right, one last thing, and that is I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to share with you. Thank you for giving me the space to share my Tai Chi with you. I really appreciate that. It's something that I'm very passionate about, comes from my heart, and I appreciate the opportunity to share that with you. So thank you. Very grateful for that. Have an awesome evening, everybody, and I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson.